What's a red flag? That you ignored in a significant other, only to realize it was a bigger deal later. Wife had chest pains. She told me she'd always had them due to a heart condition she was born with. Always said it was nothing to worry about. Looking back, I should have worried more. She passed away in the middle of the night while sleeping. Her heart had stopped. It's been almost 3 years. I miss her. Every ex he had was described as crazy. I thought maybe he just had bad taste in women. 2 years later I found out he was pilfering money from my bank account to do drugs. When I confronted him about it, he broke my ribs and then played the victim while stalking me for 3 months. I've cheated on everyone I've ever been with, but I won't cheat on you. You're different. Surprise. She cheated on me. The swarms of people warning me about the person and how terrible they are. For the first 2 months we dated, anytime I suggested going to his place instead of mine, there was always some reason why he couldn't do it. Eventually discovered that he was a hoarder. Almost all his exes apparently were crazy. He worked as a dispatcher at a police station. Never saw a problem with breaking small laws like speeding because he knew the officers. Years later he is in federal prison because he knew people and didn't think he'd get in trouble. His toxic mother. If I had the chance to do it all again I still would. He's a wonderful husband and father, but I would drastically lower my expectations of his mother from the onset. Instant gratification, that was never enough. A whole relationship of I need this, I really need this, and as soon as she had it, I bought it. She discarded it and moved on to something else shiny she really needed. She had a boyfriend when we started dating, was not aware of this fact, but when I found out I told her to choose him or me. She broke up with him and started dating me. I learned pretty quickly that if a girl cheats with you, she will cheat on you. My wife is a violent sleeper. There were signs. I ignored them. Now we sleep with a pillow barrier. After asking my then girlfriend to only use the long distance on the phone at certain times due to the hellish rates at the time. This was before free long distance. She still ran up a $600 phone bill and got mad at me when I couldn't pay it. I didn't see how selfish it was then. I just thought she must really miss her family cause she did move to another state with me. I married her and things honestly just got worse. Just that we wanted different things in life. She wanted to move to New York City and I wanted to stay in our sleepy college town near the mountains and the ocean. I think we both thought the other would change their mind, but it didn't happen. I had to always ask for sex. I chalked it up to him being shy. He was gay. That she didn't clean up after herself. I didn't realize this would be a lifelong annoyance, but my wife literally won't clean. She is 100% content sitting on the couch watching her shows while I clean. She hasn't washed a dish since 2011. He was very proud about how good he was at manipulating people and causing them problems, up to and including costing one person her job. Justified in that he only did it to bad people who deserved it. The problem was, it was people ********* determined to be deserving. Edit. Since so many people asked, unless he was a big hairy gay dude also into big hairy gay dudes, you probably knew a different manipulative jerk. And he got the girl fired by antagonizing her in person repeatedly and claimed it was based on something a mutual acquaintance at work said. He then goaded her into losing her temper via text with both him and the acquaintance, which he brought straight to ours. He cried crocodile tears and said he didn't know why she was being so cruel to her co-workers. She said Rihanna incited Chris Brown. It was a red flag. She had a severe case of battered woman syndrome, and when we got in fights she would taunt me that a real man would slap her for mouthing off. I wouldn't say it's necessarily a big deal now, but it has definitely made us reconsider our ways. I'm somewhat sloppy/slob. Typical bachelor things. Leave socks in the living room. Dishes pile up for 2 to 3 days. My wife never made a big deal out of it. I thought it was awesome that she didn't nag like my mom used to. Turns out it's because ************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************ The happy ending is that once we decided to grow up and make a chores list, We also tend to gain momentum once we start. It's just the getting started that's an issue we're working on. Edit. I'm glad I'm not the only one. What's been helping is an app we use or home, but I'm sure there are others. There's a pre-made list of chores. We just went down and picked a few we know we are bad at and set them on a timer. 2 to 3 times a week for example. Then add a couple more chores a few weeks later. It helps because oftentimes we'll just be sitting on the couch on Reddit or Netflix while chores sit undone. With an app we get a notification and take a Reddit break to get something done. Not a significant other but probably one of the best friends I have ever had. Dude was the happiest and funniest guy you have ever met. Crack the best of the best jokes on the shortest of lines. Dude knew how to enjoy himself wherever he was. After the suicide we realized we never saw him without a bottle in his hand. We realized way too late that he was suffering from his time in Iraq and was too proud to say it. I wasn't the type that she normally went for. She preferred tall, white lanky guys with blonde curly hair. I'm short-ish, mixed blood brown, more stocky than lanky, and have dark wavy hair. She continued to fawn over these preferred guys, even when we were together for years. Also, we had hobbies that didn't really overlap. I supported her in her things, but she seemed indifferent to my things. Turns out that she never really wanted me for me. I was an inconvenient escape from her family life. When I gave her that escape in the form of moving with her 200 miles away from them, she no longer needed me. She no longer needed what I represented, because her family wasn't there to give her hell every day anymore. She pulled away slowly more and more, while I was left trying to figure out what was wrong. By this point we were together for 7 years, and in the middle of planning a wedding, she started cheating on me with, who else, but a guy as fits her preferences exactly. Also this guy was 8 years older, unemployed, no degree, no job training, and married. She knew that he was married. He knew that she was engaged. They knowingly were cheating together. She only fessed up after I caught them together. 7 years of my life, stolen. He was dating someone else when he started dating me. Instead of dealing with it, he told her where I lived, and she showed up at my place. Chat, so you're dating Kevin? Yeah, okay, guess I'm not anymore. Good luck with him. Okay, I must first defend us by saying we were teenagers, and then clarify that yes, he did cheat on me eventually. I also did not know he was dating her until she showed up at my house. Also cell phones/social media weren't a thing yet. There were worse things that happened in our relationship, but the whole cheating thing fits with a clear red flag I ignored. I mean, sure, she has a boyfriend and probably shouldn't be flirting with me so hard, but you know, that dude treats her like S***T and doesn't realize how lucky he is to have her. I bet you can't guess how that relationship ended 4 years later. Guy used to try to get my attention with little puzzles. Don't judge him, I was into it. Also this was years ago at school and we didn't have all you kids fancy S***T. So he sent over a hangman. It took me a while to get it for some reason despite all the vows. The word was Oedipus. I was his girlfriend for 4 years. I don't know how I ever managed to ignore all the weird S***T with his mum. He warned me, kind of. I guess I must have really took to heart the moral of every fairy tale about how ultimately the best people are being poor and humble. So when I was a teenager and very young adult I just didn't care if a guy was between jobs or had no career goals or whatever. Guess what, ladies? That's how you wind up dating guys who you wind up supporting while they sit on the couch and make messes they expect you to clean up. My ex-boyfriend, when I was 13, so not really much of a boyfriend, picked me up and threatened to throw me in a snowbank if I didn't make out with him. I was scared, so I did it, but it got way worse later on. He ended up covering my mouth and putting a knife to my throat because I wouldn't have sex with him. Has long gone out of my life now. I grew up realizing I dodged a bullet. He hated when I wore low-cut shirts because that meant people saw some cleavage. He literally took me to the mall to buy me a belt because he was scared my pants would fall down and people might see something. He got pissed the first time he saw me wear a skirt and tried to make me feel bad for choosing it because he didn't think I'd be careful enough to keep my legs closed and people might see up my skirt. I should have ****king ran way earlier than I did. Controlling behavior doesn't stop over time, it just gets worse. He hated his parents. This red flag is actually more of a gray flag, based on a person's reasons for said hatred. In my case, my ex hated his parents for stifling him, even though he lived off of them and relied on them to cater to his every whim. I thought it was so inspirational that he wasn't someone who could be controlled, but later it spiraled into him turning that anger towards me. It did not end well. Edit. Yes, I know. Some of you have valid reasons for not liking / hating / distancing yourself from your parents due to manipulation and abuse. This post ain't about y'all. I was 16. He was 24. My daughter is now 15, and if she came home next year with a 24 years old I will freak TF out. At 16 you're still a child, and any 24 years old should know that. Edit. Didn't expect this to get so much attention. I just wanted to clarify that I'm in no way against age gap relationships between adults. I'm 36, my husband is 28. Yes, it freaks me out. I met him when he was 20 and thought he was older, and I was mortified when I realized his age. But I didn't pursue him or take advantage. At 16 I was a very naive, vulnerable, messed up kid and my ex used all those things to keep me in a *****ked up and abusive relationship for a long time. The age thing never flagged anything up to me at the time, but it did to everyone else. I just didn't want to hear it. It should have been a massive red flag, but it wasn't until so long afterwards. He knew my favorite animals were bees. If we ever got in a fight, he'd catch a bee, hold it by the wings, stick a toothpick into its stomach, and then hold it over a candle as he recorded it struggling. He'd send me new videos after every fight until I just let him walk over me, so he wouldn't hurt any more bees. Soon enough it wasn't the bees I was worried he would kill. If someone is that willing to kill an innocent creature in such a horrible way just to upset you, odds are they won't hesitate to hurt you too. She had anger issues. Oh my word. Don't ignore that red flag unless you want to live with someone who gets annoyed by the sound of an ambulance passing by while you are talking to them on the phone. Dated a guy for about a month when he finally invited me over his place. When I showed up I noticed kids' toys and he mentioned he was letting his brother and his wife and their kids stay with him. Nope. It was his brother's house and he was crashing in the spare bedroom. The Audi? Also his brother's. Designer clothes, you guess it. Not his. The thing is I'm not even shallow. I wouldn't have cared if he stayed at his brother's, took the subway to work, and wore plain clothing. But while everyone in her life / past was a terrible person and screwed her over somehow. Yee. Turns out she was the problem. I went on holiday with my girlfriend whom I'd been with for just over a year. It was only a 4-day holiday, but by the end of it, I very much just wanted to be alone. We ended up breaking up a few months after, then getting back together for another 6 months. If I'd had the balls I would have just ended things then. I wasted a lot of time, mine and hers, just because I was too ****t to be alone again. I still feel very guilty about it, but at least I know now, if it genuinely doesn't feel right, either talk about it or get out. That kind of thing doesn't just go away on its own. Make sure to like and subscribe for more daily content. Thanks for watching.